Okay.
Yay! Hi, everybody. Welcome to
Um,
Scandal Chat. It's just Poppy and Jaren today. We're hoping that Deirdre's going to join us. We're having a few technical issues with Google Hangouts, and that's all we're going to say about that. But until she joins us, and we might have a few other people joining us too, we're going to be talking about this week's episode of Scandal. We do not touch the First Ladies. And I think both Darren and I have lots and lots to say. If you're watching on YouTube, you can leave comments down below. We'll be checking those out. You can also @ me on Twitter. I am Watch with Poppy, and we'll be answering your questions. We'll be reading your opinions about this week's episode. And, yeah, let's kind of get right to it. Jaren, where do you want to start?
the first scene, because it's like the coolest scene ever.
I know, right?
Yeah. It was so good. I don't know. It was just like the opening was just like explosive, and you were just like, what's going on? And so, because, I mean, they weren't like happy at the end of last episode, but they were both mutual. And
Yeah.
so, just like to come in and have them like yelling at one another is like weird. So, but I felt like it was so good because it was just, I mean, I'm not a fan of Fitz right now, so I just don't like him. Like, it's just like, he can like go away. But Olivia, like, I love that she was able to say, but like what she said also, like, I've watched it so many times because I just like am captivated by like Kerry Washington's monologue. I'm just like, oh my God. Because she like talks about how she doesn't want, the Scarlet A to be on her, and she wants it to be invisible. So she still believes that she has a Scarlet A. It's just that now she doesn't want it to be known that she is an adulterer, and that's how she perceives herself. And like, I just like, we know that she does that, but the more she says it, the more I'm like, that's so devastating. Like, why do you consider yourself an adulterer? Because, like, as much. And I think part of it is because Fitz, as much as he like says, you're not my mistress or whatever, your actions speak differently. Like, you do treat her like a mistress, does he not? So I think for her, it's just kind of like, I am one, but I can't publicly be one and do my job at the same time.
Yeah.
And so she's coming to terms with, okay, well, I should be able to be successful with my job, because that's how I've always been, and now I can't because my personal life has interceded into my work. And so now I have to reevaluate and make decisions for myself.
It definitely felt like, I mean, because she definitely gets the raw end of the deal when it comes to the two of them, because obviously he's the president, and who's going to say anything to him? I mean, like, she would be the one that would be, and not just the fact that he's the president, but the fact that she's the woman and he's the man. I mean,
yes.
She's going to be the one that gets painted with the Scarlet A, as she even, kind of said that in her little monologue she was giving. I think I was so shocked when the episode started and you just heard screaming. I was like, oh my God, someone's fighting. Oh my gosh, they're like having a fight. But at the same time, I also was just kind of like, I liked it because it felt like they were doing something that normal couples do.
Yeah.
So it felt like it even was like their relationship seems to be kind of leaning more towards, hey, this is a real relationship, instead of us having these little magical moments here, sprinkled here and there. We're really going to have a functioning relationship, so let's sit down and argue and talk. I love that moment when he just told her, like, well, you just shut up and let me talk.
Oh my God, no, I don't like yelling.
In an argument, when you're like, you're not listening to me.
I know. He's such a girl. But like, I can't do yelling. Like, I'm a person that like, I can have like loud debates where you're like actually being really loud about it, but like when the way that he yelled at her, I was like, I didn't talk to my coach. Like, my coach yelled at me one time when I was a kid, and I didn't talk to him for like a whole month. I was like, no, that's not, you can't, I'm a civil human being. Yeah. You can talk to me and tell me how to do things. So like, I don't like yelling, but he was so overwhelmed. He was just like, stop. Yeah. So I mean, I get it, but I was just like, that's unnecessary. But I think also is that like, he has this idea that he understands her and he knows her, and he does know her to an extent, but like, she currently is like going through a ton. So a lot of her is changing, and like, they're not around each other 24/7 like they used to be. So there are things that are going to change and be different, and he
Yeah.
missed the memo that this was like about her, and he's like, it's about Melly or how, and he makes it about himself. Um, because as much as she doesn't want to say that like my life is you pretty much, like it is.
Right.
And he
Exactly.
knows that, and like for her, and her saying like my life isn't about you. Well, it is, but it's more like I don't want it to be about you. And
Yeah.
I think that was more with what she was trying to say was like it is currently, but I don't want it to be anymore because I have people that I need to take care of. Like, Huck's deteriorating,
Ugh.
Harrison's, I don't even, he got lost. And,
What is he
Quinn's
doing?
lost. Yeah, Quinn is out somewhere, and
And I'm sure Abby will be doing something stupid in a minute. Give her some time.
yes. Well, I mean, she's now if she's going in with David and they're going to bring down the Grant administration, then then she's, then you have
Yeah.
conflict of interest and all that stuff. So I think for her, it was just like that moment of like, she keeps going back though. Like, I'm like, are you really gonna like really take care of yourself now? Now that you've said like, I have to take care of myself, are you actually going to take care of yourself? Or are you just like thinking out loud, like, I should be, but will I? You know?
Yeah. Let me read some of the comments people are leaving, Jaren. Gladiator in Harlem says that she agrees that the fight was really realistic. The fairy tale is over, pretty much. Daphne45 asks, what do you think about Olivia and Huck scene?
Oh, I loved
Um,
it.
so yeah, there's that moment where basically, okay, so Huck's bringing Olivia coffee during the entire episode, which somebody mentioned in the comment section of my review, harkens back to the 752 to when we get that Olivia, didn't she bring him coffee like when he was in the train station or whatever?
Yes, he would bring her coffee.
And she would see him, he brings her coffee, but at random times, turns out she doesn't drink coffee, and he's doing it as a gesture because he knows that she's angry with him, right?
Yeah.
In true Huck fashion, basically.
Yeah.
And then I don't know how if I agreed completely with everything he said, but like basically, Olivia's mad because of what Huck did to Quinn, and Huck tells her, "You hold the leash." Basically, if it's on you what happened to her. It's not my fault. You know who I am. I'm a monster basically, and you may have brought me in here and done all these things to me, but you've just tamed me. But I'm still a monster, which was just kind of like, oh my gosh, a little scary.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just felt like he tried to shift the blame completely to her, which I do think some of it does lie at her doorstep. So I think she needs to accept that because I do think she did let Quinn down. But at the same time, it's like Huck's also a grown man. And I don't know. I just have a real problem with him because of what he
Yeah.
did to her. And I don't like where they're taking his character. So I don't know. What do you think, Jaren?
I love the scene. It was actually my favorite scene just because I felt like because I need Olivia to take responsibility because like she as much as she doesn't want like she says that she has people to take care of and she takes care of everyone, she has to understand that she doesn't facilitate an environment for them to grow in because she doesn't take care of herself. And so when she doesn't take care of herself and she doesn't it doesn't create a healthy environment for everyone else. And
Yeah.
so like her actions have led to where Quinn is today. Her actions have led to where Huck is today. And yes, Huck has to take account for like his actions. I totally agree with that. But to an extent, like Olivia is the one who was like, I need you to find Amanda Tanner. And he went back to that. He was away from it and he went back to it for her. And then something else needed to happen. And so she has this idea that she's better than B613 because she didn't create anyone, but she kind of facilitated the creation of Quinn. And
Right.
so, and she uses Huck the same way B613 would use Huck, but she thinks it's for the greater good. So I think she really needs to understand that Huck is who he is right now because she facilitated an environment for him to be that way. Like he needs like serious cognitive like behavioral therapy and like actual help, and she needs to help him find those resources to get that help because he can't fix himself. And she can't fix him either. So like it's her realizing she needs to realize that, and so that he can get better. But I think also there's that fear that, like, if you get better and I'm still here, what am I going to do without you? So it's also that fear of, like, you know, we keep, even though we're unhealthy, at least we're unhealthy together.
Together, right. I just feel like, especially because at the end of last season, Olivia made that point to Fitz of, backing off because she felt like my people need me,
But
that whole
but
thing.
then but I think because and then her mother comes in, so like
Yeah.
every time she like makes a statement of I need to step up and take care of the people, my OPA, something happens, traumatic happens to her, and
Yeah.
they have to take care of her. So
I find
it's
that interesting though because it's like anytime she does try to control the things around her, it's like it's complete and utter chaos at this moment. It's like
yes,
I feel like it is a ticking time bomb because so many different things are going on. Whatever's going on with Harrison and his crap, and then and Quinn and Huck, and and it's like it's just waiting to blow up in her face. Minus the fact that her own life is already kind of like it's just a big ball of madness is what it is. But
it really is.
let's see. I'm going to read some of the other comments. Or somebody sent me a message on Twitter, too. Lady L says, I loved the Olitz argument because it follows their passionate love affair. Extremely passionate people have passionate fights. Let's see. Oh, she also says when Olivia's name is resurfaced in the public as Fitz's mistress, she gets a renewed cold slap with reality out of her Vermont dreaming, basically. So, yeah, I think you're right. Vermont is far away, if ever, basically,
Yes.
for Olivia.
And I
For
like
sure,
that she
at this point.
stops him because he's like someday, and she's like stop, freeze,
Yeah!
time out, nope, that's no good anymore. We're right here, right now, and right now it sucks. So someday is way far away.
So
Like
let's be here. Yeah, I thought that was really interesting when she did that. Like he tried to do his whole,
someday
someday,
in the
you
future
know,
we'll live happily ever after, but right now it's really sucking.
rainbows and unicorns was the
Yes.
Gerald Clement. And she was just like, no, it's now, it's here, this is what it is. Like, we are going to live in that. And I just thought that was like, no more fantasy time, man. We are in reality. That was an interesting little moment, I thought. There's some questions. PLA Turner says something for you, Jaren. She says, because you were saying you don't like, the whole yelling thing. She says, well, Jaren, never get married because me and my husband yell all the time, but it's with love. I tell myself that all the time. That's hilarious. Gladiator in Harlem, what do you think about Tom's role? Is this a bait and switch orchestrated by Fitz? So funny that you asked that, Gladiator in Harlem.
I know, because
we were just talking about that before the camera started. I know. Like, first of all, shocked when Tom came in, because if anybody's the traitor, we thought it would be Hal, but it was Tom this week. But then we were also wondering the same thing, because remember, in season 1, Tom was the one who told Fitz where the cameras were at. So, I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, obviously he's been delivering these videos.
That's why Rowan knows everything.
And that just makes me think, ew, and if you think about that too, I mean, that means he saw that video of Fitz and Olivia having sex on the desk, which is kind of creepy, if you think about it.
Well, he's done a lot. Well, he already had a sex tape of her, so, I mean, he's not the greatest dad in the world at all, so.
He really isn't. I've got my fingers crossed, though, that Tom is really on Team Fitzgerald Grant.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, let's talk about that whole B613 thing, actually, and Jake, because I felt like there was a lot of foreshadowing for Jake this week. Like, it definitely felt like, I don't know, like he was starting to buy into the whole B613 thing. And I think he's got this kind of innocent view of what I'm going to do, and I know what it's like to be in B613, and so now I'm in charge, I'm going to do things differently. But they dropped that briefcase on his desk and basically gave him the power, and you could just see that look on his face even, that, I think he's going to try to use that to get the upper hand with Olivia, and I think he's just going to try to use that in general to get back at Fitz for whatever it is that he can't stand Fitz for.
Yes, I totally agree, because, like, he literally looked like a kid in the candy store. Like, he was, like, looking through those files, like, look at all these dirty secrets I have. And, like, and then the also thing that I don't understand is, like, why, like Fitz saying like I'm gonna have Jake protect, my secrets. I'm like, well, Rowan already knows. Like I'm sure Rowan could at any time like hack the system and get your files that he needs or whatever it is that he needs. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like he has the knowledge. He's worked there way longer than Jake has, and he's way more intelligent. So like I don't I don't understand the whole idea of like he's gonna protect my secrets. Like Rowan's gonna put your secrets out there. Like that's what he was doing with the campaign manager. So I don't get it. Like I just like I really because their relationship like even Jake was like Jake had already told him like look like I'm in this position because of you. So Jake already showed resentment towards him and yet he still picked him to be in charge.
Yeah,
And
I
I
thought
just
that was
like
interesting too.
and
Because
you and you are
go
sorry,
ahead,
go
I'm sorry.
ahead. No, I was just gonna say, and you already know that he has a crush on on Olivia, and has true feelings for her, and has slept with her,
Yeah.
and then you put him in charge of an organization that she is close with. As much as she doesn't want to be, she is close with that organization.
Yeah. Part of me wonders if Fitz isn't just an absolute and total political genius, and that he is just, I mean, doing that on purpose because he knows that that's going to corrupt Jake, and he knows that that will push him away from Olivia. I don't know. I mean, I wonder about that just because I think, why does he trust Jake so much? I'm just not sure about that. Enough to put him in charge of that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like, he pretty much is going to have more, as much or as at least
He
as
has
much power
more.
as the president, but probably more. Yeah. So it's like
Yes.
I don't know about that. It just seems like they just gave us a glimpse of the fact that he's going to be tempted by that power and what is that going to do to him type of thing. So
Definitely.
um, yeah, I don't know. Let me read some of the comments that people are leaving.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, you know what, too? While we're talking about Jake, why don't we just go ahead and talk about the fact that Olivia dropped that bomb at the end of the episode, which I just wanted to smack her.
You thought
We
that
had
was a
those two.
bomb? I totally like. Okay, sorry. Go
Well,
ahead.
I just wasn't expecting her to say that. Like, kind of like
Oh.
when Fitz was all like, "Do you have feelings for Jake?" and she's like, "I don't. Truthfully, honestly, I don't know." I was just like, "How vague is that?" I think I was just more annoyed by it. That it was just kind of like it was a bomb because of that. Because I was just like, did she really just say that? Like, come on, Olivia. But I mean, I know they're trying to stretch out the love triangle thing, and I think she is conflicted to some degree. But I don't know. I was just more like, really?
Yeah.
I don't know. What did you think about that?
I felt that it was very truthful because I think that many times like she's in a position where she's unhappy. And and like when Jake came home and like it was like I'm gonna do this, like stock your fridge and do this and it's like and it gives you this different idea of like what a relationship actually is. Like I mean she's been in this relationship for 4 years, so you like forget like what a normal relationship is like. So it's just I felt like it is
Yeah.
honest because you know she really doesn't know. Like, maybe I like him, maybe I don't. I really don't know right now. I'm like trying to focus on my work. I haven't taken the time to evaluate how I feel about anything. I'm going with the flow. Like, like I don't think it'll ever match up to how she feels about Fitz at all. But I definitely think that not that there's conflict, but that like there's an interest and there's an understanding between Jake and her because they share B613, and there's and they do care about each other. I mean, she literally like decided to have dinners with her father again just to save him, or you know
Right.
what I mean. So
Yeah. No, I
she
totally.
has
I get that.
yeah. So I think it was honest. I don't think it was meant to hurt anyone, and I don't think it was. I think she was just honest. Like I really don't know at this point. So I don't know.
Somebody, somebody just tweeted me. Suzette Mikado tweeted me. She said Jake is Fitz's half brother. Just kidding.
That would be so funny.
That would
Everyone's
be a
related.
bombshell for sure if that happened. Yeah, that would
Well,
be
Big Jerry
like
slept
you're
with
in love
lots
with
of
brothers.
people.
Oh, Big Jerry.
I know.
Let me read some of the comments that people are leaving. Kamara Harrington, I love this comment. When we were talking earlier about Olivia trying to control her life, she says, when we try to control our surroundings, life happens. which is so true.
Mhm.
And let me read somebody else left a comment I wanted to read to go back here. Oh, Kind Lodi says, who is watching from France, says she's definitely Team Jake, but by the end of the season, I'm afraid we're going to see a new Jake, maybe him turning dark. I hope he won't be using the whole. She really likes Jake a lot.
Oh.
Gladiator in Harlem says there was a sneak peek during the Oscars where Jake is begging Olivia to run away with him. So she thinks
Oh
it's
yeah,
about
I
to
saw
go
that.
down. I didn't see that.
I saw that. That's how I feel.
Oh.
It's literally he just says
Jake
run
seemed to
away
be
with
very
me.
comfortable this week. Yeah, he seemed to be very comfortable. Like the whole bit where he comes to her house and just like after work and just like takes his shirt off and like I'm gonna go take a shower.
I know. I was really
It was just
weirded
kind of
out
like,
by that.
okay,
I was like,
yeah,
how
just
often
go
do you
for it.
stay at it? Yeah, how often do you stay at an apartment that you can go like take a shower at somebody's house? Like I have to at least know you for a year before I can take a shower
I
at your
know before that
house.
happened. I guess that's how deep their whole like, faking that they're going out is going. I mean, I don't know. Does that mean they're living together or he's just kind of really kind of trying to make the public buy it? I don't know,
Well,
but
I think also he just threw it in her face because she texted him to come over because she wanted to talk about work. And so then he was like,
yeah,
well, I'm done talking about work and I'm going to go take a shower.
I'm gonna go
So
take a
I
shower.
think,
So there you go.
yes.
That's funny. Let's talk about Melly
Mm,
and Andrew Nichols, people. First of all, let's talk about one of the most weird scenes to me this week was okay. So obviously with Andrew Nichols, we have him covering for Melly, and we get some flashbacks finally. I was so excited about that last week, about seeing the flashbacks of the two of them. And so we get that, he was really there for her when she was kind of hitting her low point after dealing with being raped and all of the drama of that. And she tried to take some pills, and so he was there to kind of help her through that. And then he kind of takes the fall for her, in the present time, and covers for her. And Olivia figures that out. And there was a scene where Olivia goes to talk to Melly and tells Melly that whatever's going on between her and Andrew Nichols has to end. Really? Like,
I know.
I was shocked that she, did it. Because, sure, do I get where it's coming from? Absolutely, because she's in charge of the campaign. But don't you think that we should probably talk about the fact that you're sleeping with the candidate? That would be a problem too? I thought that was such a ballsy move for her to do that. Like, absolutely couldn't believe she had the balls to do that.
Well, I feel like she never stands up for herself. So it's just like, well, at least you were stood up for yourself once. But it was just kind of like it's kind of pointless because you just slept with her husband like this morning. So I
Yeah,
don't know if
exactly.
you can I don't know if you can really be like you have to cut this off. But I think that she also knows that the I think like more of her what is it candidate person what is it when you what is she? What is she? What is her job?
She's oh no, I can't think of it.
I know. What is her job? Oops. To sleep with
She's
her
running his
husband.
campaign manager.
Yes, campaign manager. That's what it is. I was like, what is that? What is she doing? But I think like as a campaign manager, she just was like, I just want to cut this off at the source and like make sure that because because you can definitely tell that Andrew likes her. So you definitely
Yeah.
like there's definitely like if people see him like watching and googly eyeing you, even though like Fitz googly eyes all the time. So I think it was just and also like Olivia has those talks with other people when really she's talking to herself, and I think that was kind of that moment as well. Is that
Yeah.
like you need to stop, and I really need to stop as well. But I'm telling it to you because I can't tell it to myself right now. So I think that's
Um,
also what was going on.
I just thought I just could not. I was so surprised when she said that, and I think the look on Melly's face was basically what I would have been looking like too at that moment. But
Excuse
Melly comes back with the whole like, you think you and I are anything alike, and we're nothing alike, blah blah blah.
That's also BS.
Yeah,
So
pretty
like it
much,
was just like a
completely.
talk of BS. Like it was just like I'm gonna lie and you gonna lie and that's gonna be our conversation.
We're gonna lie together, basically.
Yes, because Melly like I talked about this in my review, but emotionally cheating and physically cheating. Like there's like you can't like they're both cheating,
Yeah.
and to say one is better than the other is there. This one is not. I mean, they're both hurtful in very different ways,
Yeah.
and so like and Melly, what happened to her was really horrible. What Big Jerry did was really, really horrible. And but like she has to understand that like she emotionally checked out on her marriage, and she created an emotional attachment to this man and fell in love with him, and that was a damaging effect to her marriage. And she
Yeah.
has to start taking accountability for what has happened within her marriage and stop um, and not like accountability but like accountability that like there are actions or things that I have done that have negatively affected this relationship that I have, and stop blaming it on Olivia and Fizz's relationship, because
Yeah.
it's not solely based on their relationship.
That's a
um
really good point, Jaren, because I definitely think, I mean, I really do feel like she does that a lot. Like that, this is the reason for the breakdown of my marriage. You're responsible for that.
yes.
Um, it was interesting too during that flashback because we actually did see that moment where you can even kind of see the breakdown of her and Fitz's relationship, as he, of course, doesn't realize what's happened, and she is dealing with the effects of having been raped, and also thinking, oh my gosh, maybe my child is actually, the rapist's child and not my husband's child.
Hmm.
And you get that they're not talking. She won't talk to him, and you can't, she won't let him touch her. And he, of course, is like, what is going on? And I wonder if they're ever going to actually, like, if he's ever going to find out the truth
He's not, because
about what
Melly's not
happened.
gonna. I mean, because you have to earn somebody's story. Like Melly is not gonna give Fitz her story because Fitz has never earned her story. So you have to earn somebody's story like that, and that's what Andrew did, and that's why she told him, because she didn't question him, he didn't question her, and he didn't. All he did was just be there, and he listened, and there was no judgment passed. And so I think that, and when somebody shows you that, then they earn your story and you're able to say it to them, and it helps you because it takes a burden off of you, and
Yeah,
it makes it less restrictive, because secrets are very restrictive, and they are they're very damaging to yourself and then to your relationships as well. So I think that, I mean, and her sharing that with him, I think that helped, and like, because they did have a second kid, so they had to touch at some point. So um I think at the same time, like, her being able to share that with him allowed her to forgive herself in a way and move past that, and have sex with Fitz again, because she has to have it in order to, unless I don't mean, because that's the only way Karen would be born. So I think that, it's this weird, like, she would never share with Fitz because Fitz has never earned it. He's so rude to her. Like, when she came to him and asked him, like, what kind of, like, love is that? Where you just, like, is it, like, burning,
yeah.
or is it, you know?
I don't have
And,
time
like,
for that. I don't have time. I don't
I
have the time.
know. And I was like, that's so, like, if you really want to build a future with Olivia, you have to sit Melly down. You really have to sit her down and be like, look, this is what's happening. And, I'm in love with this woman, and, and I think right now, because their relationship is vulnerable, he feels very invalid within the relationship, I feel like,
Yeah.
because because he knows that she really doesn't know. And then you have Jake, and so he's jealous as well. So I think also he doesn't want to share because he's like, I'm in pain because I don't know where I am right now, and I don't want to share that with you because you're mean. Like, we're mean to each other. So why are we going to share each other's pain? So,
Yeah.
but I don't think he'll ever know. And also, I thought it was weird that Olivia didn't ask why she was popping pills. Like, I was like, Olivia, the least you could have done was been like, why are you popping OxyContin like candy?
Yeah, like
Like,
there was no, she didn't,
there was no question of why.
yeah, there was no follow through on that.
Just, it
Yeah.
needs to stop. Hypocrisy. But
So true. So very true. Let's see. I'm trying to think. I thought it was funny that Hollis Doyle was in this episode.
I know,
As soon as he walked in, I was just like, "Oh Lord."
I know. He's so
I
awesome.
also love that moment too, where Fitz was just like, "Why is he here? Like, I don't want him involved in anything that has to do, and like basically refund him his money."
Yes.
Because I don't want him involved in the conversation. Oh, it looks like Tresha is joining us into the
Hey,
chat. I can hear you and see you. Yay!
I have literally been trying for the last 20 minutes to get in on the phone call.
Really? Oh my gosh! I'm glad it finally worked.
Yeah,
We are
I had.
so excited that you're here.
Thank you. How are you doing, Karen?
Good.
Well,
How are
jump
you?
in.
We were talking about what were we talking about?
What were we talking about? Oh, Hollis Doyle.
Hollis Doyle.
Lord have mercy.
Exactly,
I'm-
Tresha.
Yeah.
As soon as he walked through the door, I'm like, what is he going to say?
Yeah.
He's hilarious.
Yes. But I think he has a good
Did you see that
aspect.
too, though, when he was with Sally Langston, though, and obviously Sally is deteriorating.
Yes.
I mean, she is on the edge of just snapping, you guys, and I hope it is
Absolutely.
beautiful and glorious and in a public place, and she just confesses
Exactly.
her sins or whatever. But I mean, she was just like seeing her husband's body on the floor. I mean, it was just like, oh, this woman is gonna lose
You
it.
know what would be really cool if they have her like spill her guts while they're having like the Republican debate.
That's what I was thinking. That's when it's
And
going to
then-
happen.
And then they can like the presidential
That would be
debate,
awesome.
and then she just like is like, I'm committed to sin. The devil came in me, and she just
Yes.
like confesses.
Exactly.
That'd be perfect. But then like
Exactly.
that's the thing though, is that like her campaign manager is just so excited, and I literally love him because he really contrasts the White House right now, because the White House is like, we have to do this and this and this, and he's like, we're gonna do this and this, and he's like so excited because he hasn't been there yet. So he's like this young child who's so excited about life, and like they're all old people who are like, yep, I lived that life.
I mean, it's a step up for him for sure, because well, with him doing the campaign, I guess running against Andrew. I don't know if you remember hearing that little piece. So he's very familiar to the game. He knows exactly what to do. So yeah, this is kind of like his chance at the big leagues, at the big shot.
But I feel like you have to know that you don't have a chance with Sally within the state that Sally's in. Like,
Right.
dump her,
Well, he knows-
dump her, and get a better candidate.
I'm pretty sure he knows that. I mean, he's really beginning to see that now. He thinks he can keep her together because
Yeah.
for all intents and purposes, he'll probably run the office if she's incapacitated. But who knows?
She falls
I mean,
apart, yeah.
Yeah, no, she will definitely fall apart. There's no way. There's no way that Sally's going to make it.
It makes me wonder because we don't know who he's going to run against Democrat-wise yet, right? I
No.
mean,
Oh yeah, the dude that
Who?
that he won against in the first election.
No, that was the Republican primary. Oh, wait a minute. No,
No,
wait a
it
minute.
wasn't. He's Democrat.
what's
The-
it?
That's right.
The guy who killed his wife's mistress.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, he is the Democrat. You're right.
So he's probably going to run. Okay, so that'll be the rematch.
Yeah, he's the third candidate in that debate.
All of them have killed somebody. So if you want to become a a presidential candidate, make sure that
That
you
is
have a
so
murder
true.
under your belt.
How funny is that? Can you imagine? Everyone's killing people. Let's think. What else have we talk about? Let's talk about Andrew
Quinn.
Nichols and Melly for a second, though, because
Oh,
we didn't
okay.
really talk a lot about them. We talked a little bit about that scene where Olivia did her thing, but I'm not quite sure if I have formed an opinion. I mean, he seems amazing at this point. I mean, he's obviously like really emotionally there for Melly. He is like obviously really attracted to her. Confessed that pretty early on and has been holding on to those feelings for 12 years. And they of course did eventually kiss. She finally kind of gives in and kisses him. But you could tell that she's just can't even believe that she did that. But I don't know about him, you guys, and I don't know that I'm fully, throwing my trust 100% in his corner, because this is Scandal and anything can happen. So
Sure.
I don't know. What do you guys think about him?
I threw my trust in his corner like really quickly, but this is me. because he just, I mean, when he had that
This is
discussion with
awesome.
Olivia and he says, I had my chance, and I didn't take it, that was his chance. He's talking about Melly. So I really trust him in the fact that he really does have true feelings for Melly, and Melly has true feelings for him. And I totally ship them. Like, I'm totally for it. Like, go and, like, create your own relationship, for heaven's sakes. And, like, maybe it'll just be, like, they're both having affairs until the presidency's over. That's whatever you want to do. Or you can, like, simplify your life and just get a divorce like other people. But, you know, I don't know. What else? I don't make sense.
Simplify your life. That is
Well,
lovely.
he's certainly not going. I mean, he's certainly not going to give up now because, you know, obviously, you know, he sees that obviously, you know, that she's definitely attracted to him, and I mean, I thought that was poignant in that, the last part of that where he touches the picture, you know, so he's like, oh yeah, I got it, you know.
And I think also he knows that Fitz is cheating on her, so I think also that adds to it. Like, well, your husband isn't interested in you, so I'm interested in you. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's a license.
Let's go for it. Okay, you guys, I'm going to read some of the questions that people are asking just about a bunch of the different scenes that happened during the episode. Let me go back here. Let's see. FitFab Diva 44 says, yes, with a capital. Actually, she says, yes. Sally losing it during the debate would be epic, which is so true. Kamara Harrington asked, during that scene, what was it that Fitz was feeling when Mellie asked him that? And I'm thinking she's talking about the scene between Mellie and Fitz, the flashback scene?
Correct.
No, I thought...
Or what other scene? No,
the one whenever she comes up about asking.
Yeah, he says,
I think he was just feeling like, he was really upset about what happened with the fight that him and Olivia had, and I think he was just at a point where he was like, I'm not ready to discuss this because, like, I don't even know where my relationship is at right now with Olivia because she might have feelings for Jake. So I think he personally was just kind of like, I'm really upset at the situation that I'm currently in, and I can't fix it, and you asking me how I feel about it, it's not helping me, and I don't have time for you, and I don't like you. So,
but I also think that he is so detached from her emotionally that that's the wall that he's created. That's what they've been living for the last 12 years, whatever how many years it's been, since they've been at odds with each other and they've had such a cold marriage. He's left it emotionally, everything. He's not going to discuss anything with Olivia, with Mellie of all people. With Mellie, no way. So,
well, and I think it just showed where it showed exactly kind of what he thinks about that relationship. I don't have time for you pretty much ever, but I really don't have time for this, especially when Mellie, when she gets in those moods and she just starts with how does that feel? How does it feel to love someone like, and it's just like, woman, I just told you I don't have time, and I definitely don't have time for this.
She needs to just go get a vibrator or something, and just, oh my God. I mean, you have a standing right there. Just go. Like, why do you feel guilty about it? I just don't understand that. Like, everyone, like, why is adultery, like, the worst thing on this show? Like, the worst thing you can possibly do. Like, there are millions of people who, like, all of these people have killed somebody, and you're, like, feeling bad because you cheated on somebody? Like, what? Like, prospectively, I'm pretty sure taking a life is way worse.
Yeah,
I'm with you on that one.
That's funny. Let me read some of the other comments people are leaving. Lady L says she really does think that actually Mellie is going to tell Fitz about the rape. She says, I think Fitz will find out the truth. Because the older kids are supposedly going to be coming on towards the end of the season.
I'm excited because they're supposed to be brats, and I'm excited for brats.
Yeah, they will be there.
Actually, kids for me.
Mean presidential kids. That would be entertaining. Let me see. I'm trying to see what some of the other questions are. Kan Lodi, who is the Jake lover in the house, was mentioning that during that scene with Jake and Olivia when he's at the house, I love the bit, too, where he says to her about getting some real food. Wine and popcorn weren't food. I thought that was hilarious.
All of this, okay? I remember, okay, and I'm not sure, and I apologize that I came late, so I'm not exactly sure if you all discussed this at all, and how our show, it's a completely new show. It's not a season 1 and season 2, and I know we spoke about this in previous chats, but in particular, I mean, right down to Olivia's apartment is a whole new, it's just like a brand new landscape. I mean, It used to be a place of a sanctuary. It was a place for peace. It was a place to get away. It was,
Not
and now
anymore.
it's like Grand Central Station. Anybody can just come up there. She's giving keys to people. I mean, what? It's like, I mean, that was like the last. I mean, that was the last holy grail of places that was still secret. And now it's just like Jake's all cut up there, taking off shirt, asking her to stock it up with beer and do all this other stuff. Wait a minute. I mean, out of everything that happened in that episode, I was like, what happened to the apartment?
Yeah, the apartment's gone.
Yeah.
That probably started the last season when he was filming her in there, so.
I know.
Her sacred
I mean,
spaces,
she
no.
must have been like, oh, well, whatever. I'm done.
Yeah.
That is so funny.
Yeah, telling her to stock it with beer and make sure she has food and popcorn. I'm like, whatever.
Well,
I
at least
thought
he
that was
was.
so
I
funny.
think I thought it was cute because I thought he was like, take care of yourself. But I'm grumpy at you, so I'm gonna say it in a way that makes it like about me.
Yeah.
But I liked it. I don't know. I don't like Jake. I'm not a Laker. I'm not an Laker.
Oh, Jakey Poo. Hey, he took his shirt off. I'm all, that's where Jake should be for me, as far as I'm concerned. Let's talk about. I think that one of the big bombshell for me at the end of the episode was. You know what? Before we talk about that. Let's talk about James. Let's talk about James and David Rosen first.
I'm so annoyed with James.
Right? James is going to die. How come he doesn't know that? I mean, like, he's so stupid. And David Rosen and him, like, it's just like two bungling idiots. And I just,
yes, it's like Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
It's like Defiance all over again.
What makes David Rosen think that he can trust or do anything for James? Why would he meet and be the guy, be him to protect James? James has showed no loyalty to David since day one. Why would he agree to show up? I mean, why would he agree? I mean, first, why is he even entertaining conversation with James?
But James has motive.
I think the only reason is because of the tape of that phone conversation, and because, honestly, like we were talking about the whole white hat thing last week, how that's just gone. But if there's anybody on this show that has consistently worn white hat, it is David. And so I think he's, like, when it comes to, like, keeping law and order and doing his job, he is, like, serious business. So I think the only reason that he really is in it is because of that, because he basically has the evidence that, she killed her husband, so.
But here we go again, dealing with James. Why are we why is, I know there's only so much that he can do, but why not, find someone else to slip into the media himself? Why not handle it himself? Why does he keep, going? I mean, James is just
passing it on.
Yeah, James has motive. Like, James does want to take Cyrus down. Like, James has motive, and I think, but I think that also, David is like, I don't have any of their sources, so, and why not work with James? He hasn't, like, yeah, he bailed on me, but at the same time, like, he's come back with a ferocity, like, he's really upset at Cyrus for what he did, and he's willing to do that.
I need James to take Secret Agent Class 101 before he tries to go after Cyrus. I'm sorry. I mean,
before he tries to do his Publius business.
Yeah. I actually was so annoyed with him. I was like, stop whining. Like, why do you keep like, I'm gonna die. Like, then stop doing what you're doing and like have somebody else do it who knows what they're doing. Like, Olivia Pope.
What do you guys think Abby's gonna do now that she knows?
She's gonna get stuck in the middle again. And then they're going to have to choose in between her family and the person, and her man. And then she's going to choose, I don't know who, but why does she put herself in that position? Why do that? But at the same time, like, David's about doing the right thing. So if that means taking down the Grand Administration, that means taking down the Grand Administration. And Olivia Pope is part of that. And so, like,
yeah.
I just, like, I don't think David's wrong for what he wants to do. I personally feel like the Grand Administration should not go further because they're just crazy. So they just need life to move on. But I think that, but at the same time, like, you literally are working to help create this administration and redo their campaign, but then your boyfriend is trying to take it down.
Yeah, but he also owes the Grant administration for the reason why he has his job.
Yes, that's very true.
I mean,
But he lost his job. No, but he lost his job because of the Grant administration. But then the Grant administration gave it back.
Yeah, but they were the only ones to give it back. It's the only way he could get it back. So, I don't know, it's very twisted, as everything is.
It is.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be interested to kind of see what happens. Somebody just asked me about, if anybody's going to die on the show, who do you think it would be? And James is really literally number one at the top of my list. Followed, by Quinn. I mean, Quinn is totally right up there as well. I mean, I feel like they're both just in these super intense situations. But James is an idiot, and yeah, I don't know. He just puts himself in the dumbest situations.
But it's either going to be those two. I don't know who else is going to go except maybe Sally. I don't know who else is going to go. It's weird.
Yeah, I could see Harrison too. I could see them doing that for sure. Just craziness.
I was counting how many storylines we have going right now and how many characters we have, and I was pretty much a little bit over 20 characters that we have right now with storylines going on the show.
Oh wow.
It's ridiculous.
Wow.
And,
it's a lot. I mean, Jaron and I were talking about before we started. I mean, like this episode, there was so much in this episode. I mean, it was just like just a lot. I mean, I feel like all of the episodes are like that, and part of that I get is they're using that as a device to distract us. I feel like at times it's like, look at what's happening over here while we're doing this over here, and then we're gonna spring this on you, and you're gonna be like, oh my gosh.
I know, but it's getting to a point where it's hard to follow. I mean, you could probably, I think, tell a good story and not tell everything with at least 4 things going on. That's kind of what we've been used to, like 3 or 4 different scenarios going on at one time. But I mean, literally, the exchanges that have been going on. I mean, I was on a call last night. We literally went through each scene and who was in what scene and who was not and who was what. And I think we came up with about 10 to 15 different scenarios that were going on at the same time.
Oh wow, I like it though. I mean, I must say, I like the fast pace, and it's just like frantic and.
But we still don't know anything.
Yeah. But I think we will. I think we're headed in that direction.
Yes.
Let's talk about the cliffhanger, because obviously that was the big bomb of this episode was, Adnan Talib shows up and blah blah blah, and then we find out that she is working with Mama Pope. I mean, like when that camera turned and that was her sitting on the couch, I was like, I screamed. I totally did. My sister was like, "What are you doing?"
I figured it. Yeah.
You did. I was seriously like, who's it gonna be?
I just want to know what her motive is. So it's her, because she wants to donate to the Grant administration. So then if she donates, she gets a certain amount of power. So what is she going to do with that power? And is she going to use it to help her daughter, or is she going to use it to help herself? And like, what is her motive behind all of this? And why do they want the Grant administration to win? Is it to get back at Rowan because she knows what's going on with Rowan? Does she know what happened to Rowan? Does she not know what happened to Rowan? Like, she could have so many motives of like what she wants to do, and I'm just like, well, what are you gonna do with that? So, and like, I don't know what Adnan, like, what did they do? Insider trading? So like, but like, what did he? Because apparently Harrison was part of like something else.
It's more than insider trading.
Clearwater, whatever it was that she said that. Does Olivia know about Clearwater? So I'm sure we'll be learning about that.
Yeah. Does she still think you just did insider trading? So it's obviously something way bigger than that.
Way worse than that.
Operation Remington, and there's Thorngate.
There's names for everything. I'm gonna be confused soon. Let me read some of the comments and stuff that people are leaving, you guys. Suzette Mikado on Twitter says that she is here for bratty Grant kids. So fingers crossed that when the Grant kids show up, that they're gonna be bratty. I would love that. That would be great.
I would have a lot to say.
Let me see. Let me go back here to the comments on the. Oh, somebody had a comment for. Lots of people agreeing with Jaron and with Tresha. Kamara Harrington said she thinks one of the kids is going to get sick, which would be definitely be a twist of a story. Let's see.
Well, that's maybe how we find out
Go ahead.
They're not-
Well, what if Fitz gets shot again, and that's why the kids come home? What if he gets shot
I hope
again,
not.
and they're like, "Oh, come home and see your father," and then
Well,
that's why they come home.
Right, because
Maybe Jerry
did we
gets
see the preview for next week? I mean, they're building that up to be the moment of the season. So who knows what's going to happen? Klein Lodi says to you, Tresha. She says, Tresha, the eternal Jake hater. I see you. Let's see. Oh, Tamara Arrington says James, David, and Jake. I think they're going to die in that order. I'm trying to see if there's any other questions. Oh, Deirdre says, at least James has some kind of fear, but Quinn thinks that she's invincible. And I think that's
Can we talk about Quinn? Can we talk about Quinn?
Yeah, let's talk about Quinn, because that was some craziness.
Have you seen the sneak peek that they put out with her with Jake putting her as the receptionist at the front desk for Daphne?
No, but I'm not surprised by that.
Yeah, that was.
I just thought he's gonna hire her. He's gonna use her, and he's gonna try to hide her from Olivia because she's making herself useful. I felt like, and so he's gonna tap that asset. Basically, is what he's gonna do. But
according to the
I just don't see her as a receptionist. Yeah, but what does that really mean at B613? That means she answers the phone and then maybe she kills someone during her lunch break or something.
Definitely. I'm sure, like you said, I'm sure he's going to use her assets because obviously, she's got talent, but it's the way that he can keep his finger on her and he can still have deniability. I was just trying to help her out.
Yes.
Oh, I see.
I think that because like if he says like if he makes sure that she just follows Rowan or she just follows somebody and she doesn't actually act on like her skills besides just hacking into things and not actually like torturing people, I feel like he feels less guilty about it. He's like, okay, well, you're just If he
doesn't have her as an asset, now she becomes a liability because what if she goes and starts working for Rowan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, now it's.
What did you guys think? What did you guys think about the scene between her and Olivia? I mean, I felt like, first of all, it felt like really tense, and like, I mean, the music during that scene, especially towards the end, like when she pulls the gun out and is like, get out of the car, it was very intense. Like the music was, I just thought that was really interesting the way they did that. But, when Olivia kind of tells her, come home, like I want you to come home, and you get why Quinn doesn't want to because of Huck. And because of what happened, but I don't know. I just wasn't sure what to think about it.
Honestly, really, is that what she brought up as the fact that he licked her? How about he took my tooth?
Yeah,
I was just thinking, yeah, he licked you, but you know what? Licking you is better than pulling the damn tooth. I mean, it was crazy.
But it's a psychological thing. It's like he treated me, like she said, he treated me like a piece of meat. She saw him switch off. She saw his humanity switch off, and that's what freaked her out. It wasn't that he took a tooth of hers. It was the fact that he switched off in front of her and licked her and treated her like he was a cannibal and was going to eat her for breakfast. And that's what freaked her out.
What did you all think of that trend? What transpired between the two of them and what Huck said to Olivia?
Oh, we talked about that. But
we were just both saying basically. I mean, for me, I feel like Olivia does share some of the blame. I thought some of what he said was true, but I also think there's blame for him to have as well. I do think Olivia has been a little naive in her dealings with Huck because Huck is a certain way with her and she expects him to do that with other people, and I don't think he's fully there yet.
Got it.
And I mean that whole bit where he told her like, you hold the leash and it's on you, that was on you type of thing, like you let me loose basically with her, you knew that you were leaving her with a monster, and you shouldn't be surprised by what happened. I think some of that is her naivete because she did, and I think she was hoping and trusting that he was going to do the right thing, and he didn't. So,
but I don't think he did the wrong thing. Like he taught her like he was supposed to, but I think he also like he he then, but then he gave her the tools, but then didn't necessarily enforce the rules. And so, like they needed the Sims cards from Billy, and he wasn't able to do it, so she did it. So
Yeah.
Olivia put them in that position for that to happen. Because if Olivia hadn't done what she had done before, they would have never had to torture Billy. This would have never happened, and Quinn would have never tortured somebody and felt that. So, you know, it's not about leaving her alone with Huck. It's about what she's asking of them, because she is asking that of them more often than she wants to imply or say.
Yeah.
I agree. She did open up that can of worms. So, but the only thing that I also just talking about B613 and that whole thing. Do you remember when Jake was on the phone? Olivia had called him to ask, "I need you to know what Rowan is up to," and she had that discussion with him on that, and how, again, she was asking for a favor, but yet she's worried about him being ahead of B613.
Exactly.
First thing, a little, back and forth. But you remember when he mentioned. She asked what happens to those who were turned loose from B613. Do you remember when Olivia asked him that? And he says, well, they become civilians. They don't have any, I'm thinking, I thought no one was supposed to, first of all, live. if you left B613, they killed you.
I don't remember that.
No, because Huck's unit was normal people. Remember?
Well, no, and I realized that. But
okay.
B613, you're always part of B613. So why would he explain to Olivia that was the case? That you get to go back as a civilian and you have no. That was kind of contradictory to me. So I just didn't know if maybe I'm reading too much into that or what. But that did make sense to me. But
It was weird.
Interesting.
I'm not sure. I mean, I guess we'll see. I mean, I don't know if if Jake is trying to usher in a kinder and gentler B613. It doesn't seem like that, but I hope we're going to see. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to see him kind of delve into the same things that Rowan did, but I don't know how he could possibly not do it. But I want to read some of the comments people are leaving. FitFab Diva44 says, what do we think about Leo meeting with Rowan? Is Leo B613? I don't think he's B613. I just think that Rowan is giving him information to use because he's trying to destroy Fitz. His whole promise in the monologue he gave a couple weeks ago that he was, told Olivia to run because, basically he was getting ready to destroy everything that Fitz had built. So I think that's what Rowan and he were doing together. So it'll be interesting to see what Fitz and Olivia do with that information because I'm sure Jake will be sharing that with her shortly.
Andrew
let me read some.
B613.
Huh?
I was just thinking Andrew could possibly be B613.
Yeah, that's true. Good God. Kamara Harrington says, I don't know why. The gun. When Quinn pulled the gun out on Olivia, why was that necessary? And I agree. I feel like Quinn was just trying to be kind of like.
She's trying to show she was a bad.
It's like a child and a mother. It's like when you move out of your mom's house and she's like, "Please come back home. I'm lonely." And you're like, "Mom, I gotta make my own decisions. I gotta be my own person. I gotta." It's like if your father abused you and then your mom wants you to come back home, but your father still lives at home, and you're like, "Mom, I'm good. I gotta."
It really was. I think it was just a way of her asserting her independence from her and says, "Hey, I'm bad now, so here." I think it was more or less standing her ground. She was trying to show her, but she really wasn't going to use it.
No, she would never use it. But I think I
didn't think she would have either. I mean, the look on her face as soon as Olivia got out of the car was just like,
wow, yeah,
heartbroken, basically.
Because she wants.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, like, I loved Quinn in this in that between Olivia and Quinn just because I think that she just has to it's really painful to watch people grow and like make mistakes and learn from them, and I think that's just where Quinn is at, where she has to go and make a ton of mistakes because she feels like she has a big head because she is smart, she is intelligent, she knows what she's doing, she has a big head, and she's gonna trip over it, and like we just have to wait and let her fall, and Olivia really doesn't want that to happen. She's like, look, you're gonna fall, like just come home so that you don't have to have as many bruises as you would by yourself. But I feel like she just has to let Quinn go, and like whenever Quinn falls down, just be like, okay, come back home. Like, I mean, I think that her saying like come back home allows Quinn to know that okay, I can go if it's if I, you know, when I choose to, I can go back home.
I
But
can go back
right,
home. Yeah.
yeah,
So it was like Olivia just gave her the option. I mean, I don't know.
I
I
don't
guess we'll
think
see what's gonna happen.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I don't know that it's just that I think at this point Olivia doesn't think she can deal with Quinn at this moment, and she's just gonna let her go.
well,
Just let
she
her do her
should,
thing.
yeah, she should because
So,
she has to learn on her own, like she does.
yeah, no, I think you're right.
And
I mean,
Olivia and
I mean, obviously she feels that responsibility for her because of I mean, the reason Quinn is Quinn and not Lindsay or whatever. What was her name before? Lindsay Dwyer or
yeah,
whatever. Is because of what Olivia did. So, I mean, I get why she feels responsible for sure. I want to read some of the comments people are leaving on YouTube. Lovely Ellie L says that I recall Tony Goldwyn tweeted that the next episode, 313, is going to be heart shredding. So, and obviously in the promo, it's saying make sure you watch the last, 30 seconds, I think it is. So, I think somebody's going to die, and it's going to be epic, basically. Let me just see. Kamara Harrington says, Tresha, Jake is naive. Jake should have been offering Olivia his services for whatever she needed. He should know Rowan is gunning for him and Fitz. That's common sense. Frenchie D, Deirdre, says, Quinn wanted to do the things that Huck was doing, so she can't claim to not know where she would wind up, basically. Like, she should have expected that.
True.
Which is true. Yeah, I know. Let's see, was there anything else that happened, you guys, that you want to talk about before we clear it out? I'm trying to think of anything else.
Just now, I'm kind of wondering what's going to happen between Cyrus and, Anon. Like, what Adnan, what's going to go on there,
Yeah.
Because, Cyrus had that grin. So, that grin to him.
The money grin.
Yes. So, it'll be interesting to see what goes on.
It seems like a trap to me, like.
Definitely it's a trap, but, not sure where that's going to go. And,
yeah.
Gosh, there was so much that happened in that episode. It's hard. I found it very hard to digest even after watching it a second time because I had a hard time remembering what happened in the first episode. So I was thinking so much happened here, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. And you all spoke about the scene I think just before I came on before Mellie and Olivia were speaking, right?
Yeah, what did you think about that?
They're not having the affair. I wish that was written different ways, except for the way it went down. Olivia's smarter than that to come at Mellie on that level, knowing that she's sleeping with her husband. Olivia would have been smarter than to come with her on that level. So, I was disappointed in that.
But like I said, I think it was like Olivia does. She has talks with, she does her talks. And she talks to somebody else, not to herself, when she should be talking to herself. So I think that's more of what it was. But it was just that Mellie.
It was her talking to herself.
Yeah.
Well,
Olivia.
She's crazy.
I just said it was ballsy. I could absolutely not believe that she did it, and thought that she would have had the right to do it. But in the end, because Mellie did her whole "we're not the same person." In the end, they were, because. During flashbacks, we get that Mellie was able to kind of tell Andrew Nichols, like, nothing's going to happen here. But then, flashback to now when something did happen. So, maybe they're not all that different. So, okay, you guys, I think that is it for us this week. It was a crazy episode. You can see my sister in the background. Staring up.
I actually have been staring at her the entire time.
Yes, everyone's been staring at you the whole time.
No,
I'm just kidding.
It's okay. She was in the mirror, and she would pop up, and I'd be like, "Oh, hi."
Maybe if we get her caught up on her Scandal episodes, we'll have her on sometime. She's hilarious. But okay, Lavi, shut up. Thanks so much. Oh, and I forgot to mention, which was so cool at the end of this episode. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, you guys, but you guys have met my dad, and my dad sings in the OJs. There was an OJ song that played at the very end of the episode, which was really, really cool, which was Backstabbers. So it was really weird. Like, as I was watching, it was just like, oh, God, it's Daddy. How weird is that? I'm watching Scandal, and my dad is playing in the background, singing his song, and that's just weird.
Oh, that's
And I tell him all the time,
awesome.
and he's always like, "Are you watching that Scandal show, Poppy?" Yes, Daddy, I'm watching. So
Did you
shout out
tell-
Dad, who will probably never watch. But.
Oh, does he
No,
know his...
he's not here. He's actually I told him last night. Oh, you did tell him. Lovey says she told him, so I think that's hilarious. I'm sure he was very excited because he's always like, have you been watching that Scandal show with that Terry Lawson thing? She seems like a lovely girl. So he was very excited, which is kind of hilarious. Okay, we're going to shut up now. Thank you guys so much for watching us this week on Scandal Chat. If you manage to miss any of the chat, it will be you'll be able to watch it in full on my YouTube channel. Probably in like 20 or 30 minutes, it'll show up there. So you can watch it and you can still comment, and we'll when you're wrong or when you're right. But yeah, you guys, we'll see you again next week, and thanks for watching. Bye.